When we win in November, we are finally going to pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban.
The main strategy for the Kamala Harris campaign seems to be keep your mouth shut, right? You can't let her get out there and talk to the press and answer questions. You can't let her go off the cuff because otherwise she will open her mouth and be revealed for the blithering DEI hire idiot that she is. So in other words, you have to keep her very controlled. You have to stick to the talking points, stick to the speeches, something that actually gives a semblance that she's an intelligent, functional human being. However, the American people might get a little bit curious as to why she's switching all of her progressive positions to something that might seem to be a little bit more middle of the road. Of course, we all know why that's happening, but before we get to the clips, please like and comment so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Criticized for not sitting down for an interview, for not doing a press conference. When should that come? If you are looking at this particular coupling, when should that come?
As soon as possible. Look, I think they've played it smart. It's hard for people to remember. She's been running for president for 2 weeks, literally for 2 weeks. And so she had to get a lot done in those 2 weeks. She had to get the base of her party. She had to get the actual nomination. She had to pick a VP. So I'm not mad that she's not doing 15 interviews a day, but it can't last. It's very important. And we can't, make favorites. Anybody running for the top office needs to be as available as possible.
Yes, it can't last. She will have to actually come out and do an interview at some point, right? What about transparency? What about knowing exactly what Kamala thinks? Oh, her website has all that stuff up. The only problem, of course, is that every single stance her website is taking is the exact opposite of things she is on record saying in interviews, etc. So, of course, this will not stand. Now, the only way we're, of course, going to get any answers out of her most likely will be at the debate against Donald Trump whenever that actually occurs. But that's not going to stop J.D. Vance from going after her. Check this out.
Guys, how are you? Hi. So I know you're covering the vice president here. I figured I'd come by and one, just give a good look at the plane. Hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months. But I also thought you guys might get lonely because the vice president doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So, have a good one, guys. See ya. What would you like to hear from her? I'd love her to answer the questions. I'd love her to just answer what she wants to do and also explain why every single position she has changed. She pretends to be a prosecutor, yet she pretends to be a tough-on-crime prosecutor, and yet here she is wanting to defund the police. She's the border czar, yet she's opened up the American southern border. This is a person who has to answer the questions from the media, and it's disgraceful that she runs for you guys. It's also insulting to the American people. But anyway, we're going to go do our event. I appreciate you guys being here. I wish she paid you some more attention. See ya.
So yes, J.D. Vance actually rolled up on Kamala Harris's Air Force Two and said, hey, press corps, why are you okay with her not answering any questions? Has she spoken to you? Has she given you any reason as to why she's not spoken to you? Are you going to ask her any questions? Are you going to press her at all to get some answers? Because the American people are curious. What does this progressive, leftist, socialist, communist actually stand for? We might want to know, okay? But of course, J.D. Vance is just doing a masterclass in trolling there, which is truly hilarious. Of course, there's so much fodder to be had, especially now that she's picked a very progressive running mate in Tim Walz. Check this out.
That his superpower is how normal he is.
Is he? I mean, I don't know. I don't know this guy. I mean, is it normal to let your biggest city in your state burn while you're the governor for 4 days, destroying thousands of businesses, hundreds of millions of dollars in property damage while you do nothing? Does that sound normal? Is it normal for your wife to say she opened the window so she could let the smell of tire fires waft in so they could take in the smells of this radical chaos and anarchy on the streets of Minneapolis? I don't view any of that as normal. I look at this through the lens of decision making. And in 2 cases, they've showed us who they are. Kamala Harris absolutely bowed down to the radical left in her party by not picking Shapiro, who is Jewish. There was a nasty campaign run against him. Everybody knows it. No one wants to admit it, but everybody knows it. And she wound up choosing the person who was not Jewish and not as talented and not from the state that she has to win. He did a nice job tonight. Everybody could see why he was the best choice, but she couldn't do it because the party is somewhat awash in anti-Semitism. And for Walz, when he did what he did during the riots, to me, it was him saying, I don't have the strength or the character to stand up to this anarchy. So in two big decision points for this ticket, they've showed us they will always bow down to the radical left. So I think if you want to talk about normal, to the normal people in this country, bowing down to the radical left is not normal. It shouldn't be normal, and it should be a flashing red light to the normies of America that this is not the ticket for you.
So, of course, the big attack coming from the left is that the right is weird. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are just weird. So what exactly is normal about Tim Walz? Well, not much, right? He's giving driver's licenses to illegals. He's raising taxes on his state. He's not doing a dang thing to go out there and stop the riots when they were happening. And of course, he's actually allowing death after birth for babies, according to the new abortion bills that he has signed into law. So yeah, a little bit strange. And there's even more information coming out about him now. Apparently, he's guilty of stolen valor and lying about his service.
When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with.
So you try to get this message out, but Minnesota's largest newspaper checks it out, says it's 100% true, but yet refuses to print.
When I hung the phone up, I said, what the hell is this, North Korea?
Back in 2005, a warning order went out to the 1st Battalion, 125th Field Artillery to mobilize for a mission to Iraq. At the time, Walz served as the unit's highest non-commissioned officer, but months later, Walz would retire from the Guard, avoid the deployment, and run for Congress. Tom Behrens was next in line for the position and was asked to take his place. Behrens would go on to serve in Iraq on a nearly 2-year deployment as a command sergeant major. All while Walz began using that title as a congressman.
Just hanging on the coattails of people that actually are command sergeant majors that went through all the process and put all the time in.
A spokesperson for the Minnesota National Guard said Walz wasn't able to retire as a command sergeant major since he failed to complete coursework and requirements related to the rank. Verified documents show the Army corrected his service record. Walz was reduced in rank to an E8 Master Sergeant after retirement and his conditional promotion.
The bottom line in all of this is gut-wrenching and sad to explain. When the nation called, he quit.
So Tim Walz is basically claiming accolades for something he never actually accomplished. Sounds just like any other leftist to me. So this person who's supposed to be Kamala Harris's attack dog, who's going to be the one who actually comes out and gives all of the campaign speeches, everything he's saying is now going to be called into question and revealed for the actuality that it is. So as usual, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.